The New Age movement is trying to get everybody to ascend. But the ancient royal art of ancient Hemmitt, which is alchemy, and the ancient mystery systems of the ancient Mesopotamian, Egyptian, and African world was always talking about a mentor, which is the land of Amen, the hidden god, is the underworld. So you got two different systems that's going on. Y'all getting this? One is a system that was put in place by the so-called divas. The divas, and I'm going to go deeper into some other mythology in a few minutes. And those divas put in place a astral plane. And the astral plane is these different dimensions of the existence of the known universe. But remember, this particular universe has an origin. And by it having an origin, because it wasn't in the beginning, ultimately it is not the ultimate reality. The left-hand path, or the underworld path, or the dark side path, is a different system which is talking about the overthrow of the whole entire universe to the original inhabitants, which in actuality, in a course of being shut down so long, it becomes new. So that's the New Jerusalem. The other universe has its own existence of different astral planes, but they were only in a certain amount of cycles as long as this universe lasted. A couple of billion years. That's over with now. So the New Age is telling all this ascension shit because they're still trying to find a way out. And there's no way out for the people that was not created outside of this universe. You see. So they only are comprised within this particular universe. Now, for the simple fact that you can go above the physical realm into the other dimensions, it doesn't mean that those other dimensions are higher, because it's not about ascension, it's about getting to the original core of what existed before this particular known universe came into being. In this particular case, it was the earth. And later on called a mentor, or Gaia, or torturous, which means hell. So the key is not to go up the astral planes to other illusions. And although you might not be in the physical realm, so basically in so many words, these yogi masters are supposed to ascend it. They just go up on these other planes, and they might just be apart, and they say they have Christ consciousness, cosmic consciousness. Basically, all they do is they are basically outside of the physical realm, and they have another form of consciousness that's outside of the physical realm, but nevertheless is still a form of illusion. So they are still trapped in this particular realm, and they have done nothing of the sort based on the Christ consciousness. Now, the word Christ, because Christ consciousness is different. The word Christos is not a consciousness at all. The word Christos is when something crystallizes, it means you take something that's not existing like the existing universe. It is something that is crystallized and has made something totally new. And the only way you can crystallize anything is it has to be condensed and shut down into the most hideous form or the most gross elements. Any way we put it, when they say Satan was bound, then Satan can only be, Satan has the only potential to be Christ. You see? Now let me break this down based on scientific. It's no different than oil. Carbon is trapped under the earth for thousands and maybe millions of years that crystallizes into a diamond. You know what I'm saying? That's the alchemical process that the Egyptians found out, that it wasn't about the heaven realm, it was about the hell realm. And because we were bound down here in a physical body and being governed over by a bunch of lesser entities, we possess the most power, because it was only the overthrow of the prior world that existed before this that became bound down into this particular realm. And that, my friend, is what Lilith is talking about. The Lilith thing is, Lilith was the great mother that refused to be a part of the new existence with Adam and rebelled against it and went back to her primal station. You see what I'm saying? They sent 3 people after her. The sister was talking about it first. They didn't have the power to overthrow Lilith, because Lilith is higher than God. Lilith is the great mother. The God is just an abortion of a son that broke away and created this particular universe and is masquerading as the Lord and Master. Lilith, on the other hand, is the most primal essence of the great mother, and later on known as evil. That's why I say you must become evil. Eve, which is beginning, El, which is star. Primal star, or primal planet, which is the earth in its primal essence. You see what I'm saying? You get where I'm coming from here? So in so many words, everything has been turned around. You're looking to go to heaven. You see what I'm saying? In heaven, the heaven that we're talking about, this particular heaven, there's different names, but the New Jerusalem, or the Zion, or whatever you want to call it, comes from a condensation of a nebula. Now, I think I mentioned the last time that there was a word that depicted Christ in the ancient world called chrysomelos. I might have talked about that the last time, and I said that the white boy is able to take certain words out of the whole language system and make them extinct. You see what I'm saying? By basically, the masses of the people only get what the ruling society tell them that they need to get. In this case, the secret societies take a word out, and this word was only used later on by the Rosicrucians, and the word was called chrysomelos, or chrysomelos. And it says, chrysomelos is born from the condensation of a nebula. It is the brother of the Lamb in Revelations. And what this thing is talking about here, the Lamb represents pure melanin, which is called condensed chaos. Remember, Richard King told you that melanin is also called chaos. Well, condensed chaos means that you're talking about a primal element that is a primal element that existed before this particular universe, that no longer exists in this particular universe, but one place: your black ass. See what I'm saying? And by it being condensed for so long, it gives way to the crystallization of it, and that, my friend, is the Christ. So the Christ don't come from heaven. It came from heaven, of that particular part of the universe, years ago. It fell as the Luciferian element. Only thing that can rise is that falls. That's what resurrection is. In itself, resurrection can only take place based on the fall. You see what I'm saying? Not being resurrected from on high. You see where I'm coming from? So the thing that fell was Lucifer. The Luciferian light, in that aspect of what it is the only thing that can be resurrected. That's why the Hebrews say, never curse Satan. You see, the Kabbalah say never curse Satan, because he too will be raised up as a beacon, a vehicle of light. But meanwhile, they'll also talk about the God Metatron, and they'll say he's in heaven, but he's also on earth. So in order for him to be on earth and be in heaven, he had to fall. So Metatron is the same Lucifer. You getting this type of stuff? What's going on here? It's all turned around, and you must understand this, because the New Age is talking about all this ascension shit. That ain't nothing but white people trying to get off the planet. And all those, because what happened is in 1956 a group of white people ascended. And at first I couldn't understand how can white people ascend. But then again, when I understood the real concept, they didn't do nothing but go on the astral planes, and really ascension is not the highest thing. You see what I'm saying? They're not ascending at all if the home base that was the original planet of origin was the earth in the first place. That means that they're going deeper out into inferiority. Illusion. Maya. Although it's not physical, it's still a form of the same jailhouse.
Even worse though.
Yeah, it's even worse because it's even worse because most of the people that ascend still thinks that it is reality.